Okay, so what we're looking at on my screen is I have a folder I created on my desktop. It's called Arithmetic Worksheet, and it has two files in it. It has the list template that I referenced in the blog entry, and it also has a notepad.txt document called math code, where I have just copied and pasted all of my math expressions I need into one document. So I'm going to start by opening the list template. It's going to come up as a Word document. And all I'm going to do is I am going to select all, do that with Control A. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go to my simple HTML editor, and I'm going to paste. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save so that I don't lose this, because this is going to be the bulk of what I need. I am going to save this as worksheet. Okay, so again, this is going to be the bulk of what I need. It's kind of specialized, but it mainly just gets us our exercises. We'll get to that in a second, but first we need to give this worksheet, or whatever this is, a title. I'm just going to call this Arithmetic Worksheet. So I'm going to type that on line 1. Okay. But we have to make it so that it gets tagged as a title or some type of heading. In this case, I'm going to use a heading number 2, or H2. So we have to incorporate some really, really basic HTML file HTML tags here. So the way we do this is I put my cursor right at the beginning of my title, Arithmetic Worksheet. I'm going to use an open angle bracket on my keyboard, and I'm going to type the letter H and then a number 2, and then I'm going to type a closed angle bracket. Now, what I also have to do is I have to close that at the end of that title after the word worksheet. Otherwise, the computer and the web will think this is all just one big heading. So I'm going to move my cursor to the end of the word worksheet. I'm going to use an open angle bracket. This time I'm going to use a /, and then I'm going to type H2 again, and then a closed angle bracket. So what that does, that / tells it to stop using the heading H2. Now I'm going to go down to the next line, line 2, and I'm going to give this worksheet some directions. Just really simple. The directions are going to say add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Now, since these are directions, they're a little bit more important than the other text. So what we want to do is we want to give that some definition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an open angle bracket again. I'm going to type the word strong, S-T-R-O-N-G, and then I'm going to use a closed angle bracket. Then I'm going to go to the end of the directions right after the word divide. I'm going to use an open angle bracket, a /, and type the word strong again. What that does is it just gives it a little more emphasis. It's kind of like what we would typically think of as bold visually, but bold isn't actually a markup. It's just a visual attribute. So this will actually give it a significant markup. Now we're going to get into the meat of where we're going to put our exercises. So there's a lot of code here, but if you go down to what is line 23, there's an open angle bracket, an OL, and a closed angle bracket. The OL stands for ordered list, which is what we want to create. So what we're going to do is within this ordered list, there are items that say LI, which is list item. And you see it says list item 1, list item 2, list item 3, list item 4, list item 5. So essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to copy and paste our math code into each one of these items. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to back to my desktop folder, and I'm going to open this file I called math code. And again, all this does is it has all of my expressions in it, and it doesn't really matter what particular order you put these in for this example, although it would if you were recreating a worksheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just by copying and pasting the first set of code, which is for 4 + 7. So I'm going to highlight just that code. I'm going to copy, I'm going to go back to my HTML editor. I'm going to highlight where it says list item 1. And now I'm just going to paste using Control V the math code I need. Now that did shift all my code around, and technically we don't want it to look that way, but for our purposes, it's not going to matter. I'm going to do the same thing for each of those items, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going to go back and forth between my notepad code. I'm going to copy what I need, and I'm going to replace the text that's already there with my MathML. You just want to be careful when you're highlighting to make sure you do get all that text and you don't leave anything weird in there. Otherwise, it's going to pick that up as part of your problem. All right. Now, when I do get to this last problem was the one that had the text in it. The text is supposed to say, find the sum, comma, and then our expression is 10 plus 2. So what I'm going to do in this case, actually, is I'm going to go to my simple HTML editor where it says list item 5. I'm just going to delete what it says there, and I'm just going to type in here. So I'm going to type find the sum, comma, space, and then a period. So I go and I retrieve the 10 plus 2 code. I'm going to copy and paste that just like in the other cases. And when I paste that, I just want to make sure I put it right there in front of the period. So it's going to say find the sum, comma. I'm going to paste my code right in front of the period. Now, once I've copied and pasted all this, I'm just going to hit save again so that it saves this complete document. And now when I go to my desktop folder where I've saved this, I called it worksheet. So if I choose that, it should open up in my browser, and you should see what would kind of look like a worksheet. It's got a title, it's got some directions, and it has 5 exercise items that are numbered. And that's how you would create an activity with a numbered worksheet.